amazing Carolina Ravassa.
Wow. Well, hello. It's Carolina. No, it's Carolina. We're gonna correct that voiceover guy and tell him he's fired.
Hello.
That was a joke. Where do we sit? Wow. This is like...
Hello everybody. My name is Emmanuel. I'll be MC for today's Q&A with Carolina. Please get closer.
I don't bite.
I mean, Carolina usually doesn't bite.
Usually.
There's a few rules. As you've seen, I'm gonna do a little one-on-one interview with Carolina in the beginning. Then you can ask questions. There's 2 microphones, one on the left, one on the right. Don't be shy, don't hesitate. Just 2 rules, do it in English, and please no free hugs or pictures or what have you. Carolina, welcome to Belgium. This isn't your first time in our country. Is there anything that strikes you as being peculiar about Belgium or Belgians?
Flemish? No. Peculiar. I love Belgium. I love the Belgian waffles. I love the culture. I love Tintin. Did I say that correct?
Yes.
In Spanish we say Tintin, so. Good question. Not peculiar, just cool. I think you guys are rad. And the beer is great. Actually, I came to Belgium for the first time years before Facts Comic-Con, and I'm not a beer drinker at all, but my friend was like, you have to try Belgian beer, duh. And I discovered some pretty delicious stuff. So I'm really glad I did, because I don't use American beer, I don't like. And that's what I had tried living in the States, and Belgian beer is awesome, so.
Brilliant. You might not know this, but in the UK there's a famous game about Belgium. It's a party game, and it says, can you name 3 famous Belgians? So, can you?
Does Tintin work?
Tintin would be one.
Is Asterix and Obelix from Belgium?
Nope, French.
Putain. Oh, I shouldn't do that, sorry. Oh, I'm trying to practice my French. 3 famous Belgians, this is horrible.
I'll ask you the same question tomorrow, so I'll give you 2
Okay, I'm gonna
more.
work on it. Gosh, this is bad, I'm so sorry, guys. I love, Belgian waffles and Belgian fries and beer. Those 3 things work, right?
Yeah, just René Magritte, the painter.
Oh, I should know that, yeah.
And you might also know Adolphe Sax, who invented the saxophone. It's actually Belgian.
I know that.
All right.
Cool, you learn something new every day.
You can look it up for tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, voice acting. Is there any particular perk of being a voice actor? Anything you go like, wow?
That you don't have to memorize your lines.
Sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of perks. I think getting jobs is hard, right? As most of you know, working as an actor or trying to get jobs in the entertainment industry as an artist, as a filmmaker, all the arts are hard to get jobs in. So that aside, once you book the jobs, the perks are we get to come to Comic-Cons because people love the games we work on or the animations. I do love getting to work in the booth when we get to record with other people because everybody's doing funny voices and it's so exciting to get to learn from like really, really creative people or some of the legends in the business that are like old men, that have been there, like just doing this for so long. I say men because primarily it was a lot of old white dudes, but now there are a lot more women, and I love when I get to record with them because I get to watch experts doing their beautiful craft, and I learn from that. So that's one of the things that I really love.
And what's the most unexpected thing about voice acting?
The cons. The funny thing is that, I was pursuing acting for the longest time in New York, and I was doing indie films and theater and stuff that didn't pay well at all. I was still a waitress in the city, and I had worked on some games from Rockstar games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Max Payne 3, but I hadn't gone to Comic-Cons because of that. And then when Sombra came along and Overwatch blew up, we started getting invited to cons, and I didn't realize that could be a thing that we would get to do. And it's been 6 years, I think, or 7 since Overwatch came out, and holy cow, I have traveled the entire world. I think I've been to 50 cons. I can't believe it. It's crazy. We say cons, conventions, you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's like the perk and the surprise.
Amazing. When you express an emotion, what's the most difficult? Sorrow, happiness, or anything else?
I think, well, happiness isn't hard to express, but when I have to laugh on cue, believe it or not, it's hard. Like when I audition for villains and they have a villain laugh, like, guys, it's hard. After a while, I'm like, it sounds really awkward. So sometimes the laugh in character, depending on what sound you're making, can be difficult. And then dying sounds for Sombra. Oh God, I hated them. Lucy Pohl, for the voice of Mercy, loves dying sounds. We always talk about this at panels. I hate them, so that just shows our different sides.
I haven't heard them yet.
I mean, there's a gazillion. One of them that was really funny is you're falling off a cliff, you hit a rock on the way down, and then you fall to your death. And so it's like, like, I'm sure that's not how it sounds in game. I hope it's better than that, but yeah, something like that.
If you wouldn't have been a voice actor, what would you have liked to become?
That's also the answer. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to keep you on your toes, guys. I don't know if you're awake, so I'm just like making sure we're all here and...
They're a little shy, but don't worry.
Yeah.
Any tips to become a voice actor?
Choose another career. You know, I'm reading this book called I keep forgetting the name, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or whatever the thing is. I don't, what's it in French, do you know?
Le mot l'art de s'en foutre. Yep.
Yeah, and it's kind of awesome. And one of the things it was saying is like, we all want the glory, but we don't necessarily want to do the hard work to get to it. And this guy writes about how he envisioned becoming like a rock star, and he had all these moments of when he'd envisioned being on stage and like just being famous, but he never practiced playing the darn guitar. And so I was thinking about that because we get asked a lot, like, what are tips for becoming a good voice actor? And of course, the idea is that like Blizzard calls you and says, you're gonna be the next Belgian hero, right? And like, everyone's like, when did you get the call from Blizzard? No, Blizzard didn't call me. I'd been auditioning like 1,000,000 times to get the job for Overwatch and then Valorant. And so I guess like tips for becoming a voice actor is take an acting class, see if you like it, you know? The important part of voice acting is acting, not the voice. You have to know how to emote and create emotions and have them feel real. And so then after you take an acting class, maybe you take a voice acting class, or you start meeting people that do voice acting, because you're not gonna pay your bills doing it at the very beginning. And then maybe you do some free work and you do some animation, and like, or you just audition, you start finding local auditions, because like, you can't just move to LA tomorrow and try and figure it out. It's like, we gotta start somewhere. So take a class at school or take a class in college. I feel like it's just like, take a step towards the beginning, and then stuff starts happening, you know? Because you can Google voice stuff in Belgium, and then, or in Brussels, or in Ghent, wherever you live, and then you start local, and then you move out, you know? That's a long answer, but...
Still, how many voices do you have in you?
Oh my gosh, millions. I mean, that's an exaggeration, obviously, but I have recorded a bunch of different characters. Like some are French, they're very terrible, but they're my invented French. And then, you know, I do a kid voice. And then I got a Jewish manager. She's the one who like represents me and takes care of my acting stuff. So I say 1,000,000 because every time I read a new script, I'll come up with a new character. The other day I auditioned for a video game, and the character's name was Death. And I swear to God, I've never created this sound in my life. I don't know if I could do it right now. But somehow I did the lowest sounding character because I felt like that's what Death would sound like. So sometimes we just invent stuff when we see an image of like a fuzzy character in an animation, or like if this flower had to talk, she would sound different to this one, you know? So like once we see an image, like all of a sudden we have this idea that's different. And so, yeah, I mean, I think I have 50 right now that I could like pull out of somewhere. But if we create more, like that speaker's gonna sound very different than this chair, you know?
And how much freedom do you have to create a voice? How much guidance do they give you when you have to voice it?
For auditions, we get very little guidance. Sometimes they'll say, for a cartoon, for an animation. We don't want it to sound too cartoony, so they want it to sound very real, like DreamWorks animations. It's just like humans talking to each other. But for Cartoon Network and stuff, like this chair, you know, or it could be like a fluffy chair who like sounds really like comfy, you know. So we just have to like, depending on the genre, there is more freedom or less freedom, and sometimes we get very little, and we just make something up and see if it works. For Sombra, it was like, she's Mexican, she has an accent in English, she speaks Mexican Spanish, she's very sarcastic, dry sense of humor. So we get guidelines, and then we invent stuff from there. And for Ray's, she was like a bombastic, loud, energetic Brazilian who loves explosives. So I think one of my first audition lines was, "Here comes that party," and I swear to God, I did it just like that. And that's what drew their attention, because she was so loud and crazy. So sometimes you just have to like have an intuition and go with it, you know?
If you could choose any voice to do, your like dream voice, which one would it be?
I still feel like I have a little like 7-year-old kid in me who's a little boy, and he's a little bit of an asshole, and he loves to just cause problems. I used to know a kid like this, and he was, you know, he's kind of funny, but he's really, really smart, and he gets into trouble and stuff. If I could be like a series regular on like an animation for Disney or something as a kid, that'd be awesome. But I love all the different stuff that I've been recording lately. It's just, it's fun, you know? Yeah.
There's a famous YouTube video of, I forgot his name, but one of the voice actors of The Simpsons. And he switches from one voice to the other. Can you switch just like that from one voice to the other?
I've never had to, in a session, like record one and then the other. Like, I work on a Disney show right now, and the character's name's Carolina. She's from Venezuela, and I literally created her based on this other Venezuelan woman that I knew, and she has this very deep voice, and like the cadence is very much from Venezuela, you know? And sometimes then I record other characters in the episodes. Like one is this like very jaded German, well, I made them German, designer. They're like a fashionista. So I just decided that everything that we're going to do is going to be a little bit like this, you know? And so when we record those, I do all of Carolina first and then all of the German. I'm sure if I had to, I could figure it out, but usually we try and stick to one character.
You should try to get in dialogue between two.
I'll work it. If Sombra does, like, she'd be like, everything can be hacked and everyone. That's Ray's. I don't know if you know the difference. Mess with the best and die like the rest. Paint check, charges check, brakes nowhere in sight. Apagando las luces. Here comes the party.
Wow.
Sorted. Good taste.
You've been active for 10 years, sort of?
No, more. I started acting when I was 4. So
12 years ago.
15 years ago. Oh, thank you, so nice. Not professionally, but then when I started pursuing it, I was 20, so it's coming on 18 years. And but Sombra came, you know, 7, 8 years ago now. So that's kind of like something that like helps me get more into voice acting. But I've been doing it since I was 20. So.
And what has changed most in those last 18 years?
For me or the industry?
Both.
For me, I think there's just a piece that comes with knowing that we're not going to get all the roles. I think when we're younger or when we're just starting, we don't get one and we're like, oh my God, I suck. And then you audition again and then you don't get it and you're like, oh, I'm terrible, they don't want me. But now it's like, no, there's a bazillion actors out there auditioning and my friends book the roles and I'm excited for them. And so if they don't get it, I'll get it or vice versa. And so I think I just like enjoy the process more and I don't worry so much about when it doesn't happen. It's when it happens, I'm like, great, I have a job today, you know? So just letting myself live in the joy of trying and failing and, or not calling it a failure, just calling it another experience, you know? And I think in the industry, we've seen a big change in video games, which is really exciting. There's so many characters from all over the world, so many female video game characters that are awesome, and they're not just like the bimbo in Grand Theft Auto with the bikini, you know? And I think that that's really exciting, not only for women, but for just people of all, for non-white males, it's really exciting because we're actually getting an opportunity.
Would there be any voices you would refuse to do?
Like I would never support the Trump campaign, for example, if I were, if anybody would want to hire me to do that. I wouldn't record anything that was homophobic or racist. When I was working on Red Dead 2, I did a bunch of different characters for motion capture, and one of the characters was standing they had us all standing on set, and there was a guy. We didn't know what the scene was about yet, and then the main characters screaming some racist stuff, and some of our characters had to go, "Oh, what's that?" and we'd be angry, and others of us had to cheer. And so then I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. I don't want to be like cheering on this, KKK leader. And they were like, oh no, don't worry. In the video game, anytime you kill a racist person, you get points. So like the whole kind of like main theme of not the main theme of the game, but if you dealt with racist people, depending on how you dealt with it, it would help or not. And so I was like, okay, like I can stand behind the entire idea of the game, but I was like, I don't want to. Unless I'm playing a character in a movie that is like telling a larger story and maybe, talking about history and what's been going on, I don't feel necessarily compelled to do that in video games. So, yeah. Long answers. I'm sorry, guys. I hope this isn't...
Now, being a voice actress makes you famous. So fame, love it or hate it?
Being a voice actress doesn't make us famous. We've been lucky to work on, I say we, the Overwatchers and Apex Legends and stuff, to work on video games that have notoriety. So we're famous at conventions. I love coming and meeting you guys. So I love that it's given me the opportunity to meet gamers, meet the community that I never was a part of. I never went to a Comic-Con before BlizzCon, so that's cool. I guess, yeah, we deal with shitty comments online sometimes. That's not always fun. But you learn to sort of deal with that. So I love the part where I get to interact with you guys and travel the world to meet different cultures and understand why you're connected by video games. That's cool.
You never used fame to obtain something you shouldn't have, like a table in a fully booked restaurant, or...
Well, nobody knows who Carolina Ravassa is, first of all. Second of all, it's happened by mistake, guys. I called my insurance company the other day because I'd gotten in a tiny car accident. My insurance was going up, and so I called Geico, the little Geico dude, and I was like, hi, I was just hoping you could help me and not raise my insurance. And they're like, well, we'll see. And this was like years ago, and so I was like, look, I'm an actor, jobs come and go, it's tough. And I wasn't pulling a Sombra thing, but he was like, oh, you're an actor, okay. Oh no, actually, that's not even how it went. I said, paying bills is tough because da-da-da-da. Okay, what's your name, ma'am? Okay, age, occupation, actor. Oh, cool, what kind of acting? Voice acting. Anything I would know? I don't know, do you play video games? Yes. Well, I work on Overwatch. Oh my gosh, okay, what character? Sombra? Okay, wow. Oh, I love Sombra. Oh, we'll see what we can do. And so, he starts finagling numbers, and he actually didn't raise my insurance. Or the guy who came to install my internet also played Overwatch, so I gave him a Funko Pop. It's just funny, and then I had to fix a thing in the house, and they couldn't install it if it wasn't fixed, and he helped me out. So it's helped by mistake, but I've never gone I'm Sombra, give me something for free. That's so silly.
So you have a Funko Pop of yourself?
Of course, Sombra has 4.
So you play with yourself?
That's funny. I don't play with Funko Pops. I'm gonna ignore the double entendre. But, and it's not a Funko of myself, it's of my character. I give a lot of the Sombra stuff to my mom.
So, talking about games, which games do you play, if any? Or next question.
Next question. I suck, guys. I hit my gaming peak career when I was 7. I played Super Mario Karts, and I sucked. And I think I tried Zelda, and that didn't go well, and I didn't realize it was called Donkey Kong. I thought it was Don King Kong. I mean, I'm not a gamer, guys, but I love gamers, so glad we're here.
Talking about Mario, just a quick bit of fact. Everybody, it's me, Mario.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's Italian when he's saying that.
Yeah.
You might know this, but actually it's not It's-me, it's Itsumi, which in Japanese means super. So Itsumi Mario, Super Mario.
It's me, Mario!
For the next party you're hosting.
I know the voice of Mario. I have to ask him if he knows that.
Charles Martin is the one who told me that.
Oh, okay, good. He better know that. Okay, cool. Well, I just learned that it's not open sesame. It's open, says me.
Yes.
Guys, we've been living lies our entire life.
All right, a few choices. Colombia or USA?
Colombia to salsa dance and eat good food and go to the beaches, and USA to live and enjoy my career.
Theater, acting, voice acting, or dancing?
Oh, dancing. Dancing for fun. I'm not gonna make money off my dancing. You know, I'm enjoying my voice acting a lot. I'll stick to it. I mean, I don't want to choose. I still do film and TV, and I'll do theater if it happens, but I love voice acting, so it's taken off.
Can you tell us something about yourself? Anything that few people know?
I'm thinking of funny things and weird things, and I'm a middle child. You might know that. No. I sometimes put olive oil and lemon on my rice. A lot of people don't know that. Weird. Really funny story. Once I tried to make I was maybe 4, I tried to make a bikini out of gum, and I stuck it, and we don't need to go there. Okay.
My final question before it's your guys and girls time. If you were to interview yourself, what question would you ask yourself?
Wow, that's a great question. I've never gotten that. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. What would I ask myself? Why are you so insane? I have middle child syndrome, which is where I was going earlier with that. And my sisters, when we were kids, we would, my older sister would play to be the mom, and my little sister was the baby, and I was objects. I was like the table or the chair. I was neglected by my sister, so that's why I think I developed a career in the arts. That's not a question, I don't know. I would ask maybe about your like childhood traumas to see where your art came from.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't be scared. There's 2 microphones. Ask Carolina anything.
And I don't bite, guys, I
She
promise.
doesn't bite. Anything about video games? Right on. Go ahead.
Whoa, awesome cosplay.
Thank you. I have a question. Do you have any voice actors that inspire you day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I love Eric Bauza. I don't know if you guys follow him, but he does, he's the new voice actor for Tweety, Bugs Bunny, Sylvester, Daffy. He's Filipino-Canadian. It's so awesome, and he's just brilliant. And when I first saw him on stage, he did an impression of Antonio Banderas, and the guy doesn't even speak Spanish, and I was like, you killed it. So I feel like I like, you know, watching people like him work. My favorite when I was a kid was Robin Williams, not just as the genie and baddie in Fern Gully, but also as an on-camera actor. Like, he was just my absolute favorite. So I always think about that. But Jen Hale, I mean, she's our Ash and Commander Shepard and all that stuff. There are so many voice actors, but I mean, Robin Williams as a kid is definitely what inspired me as Genie, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I have a question. So I'm Valorant obsessed, and I would like to know what your favorite voice line is from Raze.
From Raze?
Yeah.
You're Valorant obsessed, you
Yeah.
said? I love it. I love, hey Killjoy, after this, you want to do some tinkering? I also like, Brimstonezinho, you sure I can't listen to music? You're really bringing me down here, man. And then Girls Night, ooh, ooh. There's so many. But yeah, thank you.
All right, don't be shy. Anybody else? Any question? I think somebody
Someone's
doesn't
alarm
dare
went
to ask a question. Go on.
Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask, what's kept you into doing voice acting and acting for so long?
What's kept me doing it for so
Yes.
long? Passion, insanity. As in like, inside of me, or
Yeah, inside of you.
yeah. I mean, it's funny. Before Sombra, I wasn't really doing a lot of voice acting. I wanted to do cartoons, but I lived in New York and I couldn't get those kinds of jobs for some reason. And so when it started happening, I was like, oh, this is really cool because I get to sound like whatever, and I don't need to look Latina, which was my big problem. I don't look Hispanic in Hollywood. So, or that's what they think. And so I just think that a love of voices and accents is what kept me going. And I think that when we're artists and we just have to create some little fire in us keeps going, or else it'll die. So passion, I guess, you know. And since I was a kid, I just loved it. So I didn't know what else to do, I guess. If I loved something else, I probably would have pursued it. But this was the one thing I truly loved.
And was there something unexpected that came from all of this that has, I don't know, impacted you?
Oh my God, Sombra! Like I could not have imagined working on so many video games since then, and B, traveling the world, meeting you guys, meeting the Overwatchers. Like my bestest friends are Symmetra, Mercy, Farah. I swear to God, like if I have problems, I text them, I ask for advice. Lucio Zenyatta invites us to his pool party all the time. Like I love hanging out with the Overwatch cast. Echo is one of our new close friends. Widowmaker, gosh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna see them in Zurich, Widow and Mercy. And I guess the unexpected thing was that I was pursuing on-camera acting and theater, and then voice acting took off. So it's not like I fell into it by mistake. I was pursuing acting like crazy, and then this took off. So it's like you have this plan in life, and then all of a sudden it takes off in another direction, and it's still acting, it's just different. And so you don't know how it's gonna happen, and so be open to possibilities that you wouldn't expect, because I didn't think I'd ever go to a Comic-Con in my life. I used to think those New Yorkers walking around in costumes going to the con on the street were crazy, because I didn't understand what a Comic-Con was, so I didn't get it. And now I'm like, I love them, guys. I love seeing you guys dressed up in cosplay. I have watched all of Guardians of the Galaxy. I've watched all of the freaking Marvel movies. Like I am up with the nerd culture because I have like learned how beautiful it is. Again, long answers. Thank you for your beautiful question. Hello!
Hello. Just a simple question. Which role would you find the most difficult of all your roles?
I think I found doing some of the Portuguese lines for Ray's difficult. I speak Portuguese and I learned it well in Rio, but she's from Salvador, Bahia, and they have a very specific accent. So, you know, I don't know if any of you have tried to learn another language or to do a different accent in Flemish, and then they would be like, okay, you have to say, surrounded by minha familia. And I'd be like, minha, and they're like, no, minha, and I'm like, minha, and I'm hearing it the same, and they're like, no, minha. And it's like specifics of languages, and I was driving myself crazy trying to get it, you know? So that scared me, because I'm like, I'm gonna lose the role here, you know? There's moments where you go, uh-oh, they're gonna take this away from me. Believe it or not, the boop was hard. When I first had to do it, I was like, boop, boop, boop. Who the heck wants someone to do boop? And then I'm like, and then after a while I was like, no, just let it go, it's chill, boop, oh, boop. But I was doing this to like get it. Silly stuff. That's it.
Okay.
That's my answer, baby. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I was wondering, are there any voices you had to do in different languages? You know, like Vin Diesel, he did Groot in like 70 languages and took $60 million home. So
That mother effer. Also, wow, I am Groot. I would do that easily in every language. No, I have not had to. The video games dub us into other languages, as you know, but they usually use localized dubbing, so they haven't asked me even to do my Spanish dubbing for Sombra. I'm working on another secret video game now, and if they don't let me dub myself, I will be very angry.
yeah, because there's a story about that in France and in the French part of Belgium. You know, Shrek. The French voice is more known than the American voice. So I've got a guy who played Shrek, but he came to France and nobody recognized his voice. But while his French dub was there, everyone, Shrek. So
Yeah, I feel like that's why there's certain countries, like I won't go to Hungary as Sombra because they dub me, or South Korea, or Brazil. Like, Overwatch is super popular in Brazil, but they mostly play in Brazilian Portuguese, so it doesn't. Oh, even when we went to the Overwatch arena for the games in Burbank, the Overwatch League years ago, the professional gamers, they looked over like whatever, because they're playing in Korean and in Japanese. They don't know who the heck we are, and they don't care. I thought it was funny, but yeah.
All right, anybody else? Any questions? Otherwise, I would suggest we call this a wrap, but not without thanking Carolina. Give it up for Carolina!
Thank you guys. I'm gonna be at my table if you want to come say hi or receive a boop or whatever.
You can find it there. Thank you.
Merci.